Navi's turn to ban. Navi's turn to ban.
Upper bracket series in their GSL group. If they actually manage to win either game 2 or game 3 here, they will move on into the playoffs with a top seed from their group to face off against the second seed, I believe. Hey, Jesus. All right, the draft kicking off rather quickly. Parker, we're going to have to get used to this, apparently. Navi going to go ahead and pick up the same one, too. Rubik Weaver and Bears, they're going to open with the same hero, Slardar, and then follow up with the Vengeful Spirit.
Okay, teams are just adamant about these bans they want to use. I think Bears at least took something away from Secret that you want to ban this Magnus against Navi. Navi just play it so well around like certain melee carries, the Slark, the Juggernaut, that it seems teams just don't want to leave it in the pool. Luna is Luna, and yeah, the same picks coming out. Navi, the other big reason I think we're seeing some of the same picks is they're often choosing to play on that dire side, even over first pick. So 2 games in a row, we see Navi dire side with second pick. And it's, yeah, same opening after same opening. 4 games in a row or something. For these teams, I guess not. I think for some teams, absolutely. So it's, I guess, a team-by-team basis kind of thing. I think Slaughter is definitely worthy of first pick. That's like...
Navi's turn to ban.
Of like the 7.0/7.01 era, so the second place here didn't even come close to touching Slaughter in terms of pick rate. So this has definitely been the go-to for everyone.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it was like 20%.
Yeah, we're like, is this hero actually first pick worthy? I was like, I don't know, guys. I think these guys are picking it up for a reason. And even after that, even after such a terrible win rate, people continue to pick them up. And it seems like it averages out pretty nicely in Ordar's favor.
Yeah. It's hard to take like one small lamb where there's a small sample size of games too much to heart. But yeah,
I think the versatility is the biggest factor, right? That's what you said. Or off lane, the fact that.
Yep. I mean, it seems to just be very good in this meta where we're seeing you turn one, not even a successful team fight, but one successful pickoff transitions into a Roshan, and that's exactly what Slaughter does. As soon as he supports, Slaughter seems to always still get Blink around 15 to 18 minutes, and that's when you go for that smoke, get a pickoff, get Rosh. Any lineup with a Slaughter, take Rosh very effectively around that stage of the game typically, and thing that we're seeing just not teams are still, I guess, struggling to adjust to. I mean, there's only so much you can adjust to. Smoke ganks are smoke ganks. More often than not, they're going to find a pick-off, and that's where teams are taking control of the game.
Navi have a plan here? Are they going to pick SF for themselves? Are they going to risk Bears picking up third pick and try and counter it from there? I noticed that is a notable missing hero on the draft pool so far when Bears do have Slardar and Vengeful.
Yeah, that was the ban from game 1 that is no longer banned, but I think based on how that game 1 went with the Timbersaw, it's definitely earned itself a second stage ban. And then they take away the Shadow Fiend, so it kind of acts as that two-pronged attack where it's a ban as well as a pick for Navi that can be very effective in Dendy's hands. So, and it would have been a problem here. I think Bears with Shadow Fiend, we saw Firo play it the other day, would have been fit perfectly with this Venge Slather.
Life Stealer. Navi's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yeah, I think their mid laner needs to be kind of a bit more of a playmaking here at that point, something a bit more flexible, but they won't know quite what that mid matchup's going to be. Again, Navi saving their last pick for Dendy. This has also been another recurring theme. We saw a 10th pick Tinker. yesterday in one of their big wins against Secret. We saw them last game try and go for that last pick TA to turn things in their favor. So they are a team who try and use that 10th pick to give Dendy a good matchup, but it doesn't always necessarily work out for them.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Harder or whatever mid lane choose to go for, and maybe that would be too similar of a lineup, right? We saw yesterday the way that Na'Vi, despite 9 of the same heroes, they were able to change their draft actually rather significantly with one different pickup and shifting in roles as well, and were able to change their whole entire lineup to beat Secret's exact same 5, and that could be a problem. Players try and draft 2 sets.
Yeah, I know. Be interesting to see what they go for as far as the offlane goes for 4-up, since those tanky, annoying offlaners are kind of banned out. Some of them are like initiation heavy ones are still in the pool. If you look at heroes like the Centaur, the Batrider, but those really pesky Timbersaw Underlord type ones are gone. Quap though, so they will get their mid lane. It doesn't really matter what order you pick your mid, your offlaner here. Oh, it could be Slider offlane, of course, so that keeps Na'Vi guessing a bit, since Bears will still be picking the next hero, but they want to make sure they get that pretty good matchup. For the Quap versus SF, we saw at least one Quap SF in the opening match where Firo had a really rough time against the Quap, but ended up recovering through his jungle farm. This is maybe a bit more of an even matchup, considering there's no good Magi this game, so it's not going to be a straight-up 1v1, but still one of the better matchups for Quap.
Radiant team ban.
Something like a Dazzle or
Radiant
something.
team
What do you
pick.
think, Bearson?
I don't know about the Dazzle with the Venge, who could be like not the ideal support duo. They go Axe. Okay, so
Na'Vi
I guess a comfort
turn
hero
to
for
pick.
4-up. Pretty good catch against the Weaver, so I think this is like a secondary initiator to go with the Slider. Like, you perhaps struggle to burst down the Weaver initially with your first Blinken, you've got a secondary hero to do so. Like, they've
10
got really
seconds
good counter
remaining.
picks to the Weaver now. 2 Lincoln's piercing
5
initiators
seconds
in the Axe and
remaining.
Slider, so and I think it's something that 4-up and Bears are going to be very comfortable
Reserve
playing.
time. Ten seconds remaining.
Ursa Warrior.
Oh. Yep. This is our opponents have picked too many Weaver counters, let's put him in the off lane kind of strat we saw from Na'Vi in one of their games against Secret as well. So it's like, all right, let's pick a hero. They've countered our Weaver, let's make sure we have a safe lane farmer that is going to function a bit better this game and also work well against the heroes that Bears have picked up. So I like the Ursa. The Ag Scepter this game against the Slider. This is probably one of the few heroes that actually completely straight up can deal with a Slider Lifestealer on his own. You get crushed, amped up, you just pop that Ags in Rage and you get out of there. So Ursa definitely one of the better heroes to have against Slider Lifestealer.
5 seconds remaining.
A initiator. Obviously going to be a problem, but Na'Vi have worked around this before,
Prepare
right?
for battle.
Yeah, they have. I think it was also like actually was a problem. Like, now you bring it up, like that game where they ran General in the offlane Weaver was when they had the safe lane Venge, which is, I guess, kind of similar to maybe Ursa in terms of his initiation potential. He's a kind of hero where they were giving him some farm and they ended up transitioning him to this kind of awkward utility Venge, but not having like a clear initiator. Biver on the Rubik is playing the 5, like often playing that 5 role, so not getting a lot of farm. You're not going to see blinks and force ups on him at good times. Does limit their ways into these fights. So Pycat needs to really, to me in my mind, needs to snowball this game to be effective. If we're looking at an even game, I don't see Ursa fighting well into Bears because they're going to be going for those 4 staffs, kiting items, and trying to just play around the Ursa.
I mean, just naturally, they have some pretty good kite, right? They've got, they've got Axe to maybe be able to stop Ursa's initiation. They've got the Queen of Pain with the mobility, Slardar with the mobility, and a little bit of kiting as well, and even the Vengeful Spirit to be able to pull a hero out of that danger zone, the swap. So I feel like Pycat, you're right, really does need to snowball, and if Bears start getting some of those basic mid-game items, he's going to have tougher and tougher of time. But they do have 2 other cores behind him that can act as damage dealers, which means they probably have better late game, even if they are lacking the initiation. Team fights are going to be a little bit messy, I think, later on to the game. It's going to be very hard for Na'Vi to get clean jumps in, but they may have, just due to the nature of having 3 damage dealing cores, they may have better late game.
Yeah. Dendi's going to be playing more like the farm priority carry in this game, even more so in that late game, because he's the hero that isn't going to get kited badly. Like, he can have that Hurricane Pike, he can have the BKB, and not have to worry quite as much. But we'll see if we even get to that point. If Na'Vi can have a strong enough early game, perhaps they don't have to worry about the Ursa getting kited all too much. But for now, Shadow Fiend is getting bullied a bit by Yapzor, despite the Ogre's presence. This is may not be the most straightforward of lanes for Na'Vi.
What a weird world that Dota is right now. 2 supports both go mid, and they both completely ignore each other and run at the opposing mid hero and do their damage in the first couple of minute and a half or so, and then they're probably going to, I presume they're going to split up around 2.5 minutes, but we'll see. Yapzor is continuing to put the pressure on Dendi, forcing him to use.
Dendi really struggled to get last hits that first couple of waves until Iron Man and him started timing some of those last hits together. Does get a little bit better at this point now with Yapzor just leaving the lane for even a split second. Got Dendi a couple of last hits, so he needs those early souls. If he can't get those early souls, like Iron Man can't leave until he's got at least like maybe 10 or so souls to play around against the Queen of Pain.
Interesting choice. I kind of like it for Rev opting for level 2 Battle Hunger against Pycat. He's trying to use it to pull back the creep wave while also kiting Pycat, making sure he doesn't have the move speed to build up those Fury swipes. General dropping a little bit low underneath the tier 1 tower. Looks like he tried to get aggressive while the bugs were out. But I just wanted to talk about Forev and his choice to actually fully try and make this lane work against an Ursa Rubik, a disabling hero combined with the presence of Fury swipes. I feel like this is going to be either a great choice or one that turns into a lot of feeding.
Yeah, this is where you typically expect to see like that Iron Talon, like I'm just going to go jungle and take the safe approach, but yeah, 4 of us, for now at least, getting some alright experience, couple CS here and there. He's got a side pull off using the neutrals until it's going to come in and be a little bit disruptive of that one. But yeah, I mean, on paper this should be a lane where 4 really just gets nothing, but so far so good.
Oh, what? General actually picks it up. He saw the double damage earlier,
DD,
but
yeah.
I did not imagine that. Oh god, it's happening.
I hate that. Like you're like, I missed the kill bottom lane. Let's quickly switch my camera there and try and be like Detective Cap, try and figure out what happened. And then as you're trying to piece things together, what happened, you missed something elsewhere. I did the exact same thing, just it wasn't shown.
There's gonna be so many T-Tours. Okay. I'm actually crying right now. All right, so Dendi dies to Fada. Looks like the dual lane works out to the favor of Bears, but General, as the sole offlaner, thanks to a double damage rune, managed to kill Firo. What a big kill that is.
Yeah. He was already fairly low, and that DD catching him by surprise. They try and turn around in bottom, but he gets away from that early aggression. This offlane Weaver, already proving very effective, goes for the bottle build. Something speculated to be like one of the really popular items to get because of all the extra runes and the ability to constantly refill your bottle, but hasn't quite been as prominent, perhaps, as some people theory crafted.
I think part of it is that offlaners actually spend a decent amount of time in lane, or at least most of them, and that boundary route is just so far behind you almost don't want to leave for it. So it kind of turns out, I think you just need high mobility here. As General, almost with the Shikuchi, is able to catch up to Fada before he blinks and get the extra damage needed. off after the raise, but not quite enough. He's here for runes, apparently. General's going to gobble all of them up. He gets an Invis rune. We'll see what he can do with this at level 4.
Yeah. The other really tough point about getting bottle on offlaners is it's a big gold investment. Like every small bit of gold as an offlaner, you need to like use wisely. Like that boots as fast as possible, the stout shield, like all these small items make such a big difference for an offlaner that saving up 660 gold means you're getting way less out of the lane because you don't have those value items. Weaver doesn't need the boots though because you've got Shakuchi. So one of the few heroes that perhaps can go for this build.
What an odd situation this is, where General comes to the mid lane, and it's not even like that Shakuchi in is going to be all that effective, right? Even if he throws out Swarm, thought it's just going to blink back. He is seeming to be willing to play a little bit of a harassment role just to secure Dendi that much more farm, despite, his lane was going fine. I was completely surprised when I saw him up at the top rune. I was like, wasn't your lane going great? Weren't you just going to continue to be in lane and get farm and do good things? But General putting Dendi's farm still at a higher priority than his own, despite a great start.
Yeah, the initial move where where Fatih gets really low makes sense. Ooh, top lane for Ev.
Oh, he's gonna get them. Too many Fury swipe stacks end up going down. Brev finally goes down. We kind of expected it was gonna happen eventually.
Yes, and he's how much? He's 4.5 boots, poor man shield. I don't know. I don't feel like he's getting enough farm and XP out of this lane to fully justify it. Ursa is still free farming completely, so...
Absol gets them with a rotation from behind through the trees, nicely set up. And Forev may go down again here as RMN, his presence in lane may be noted, or lack of presence in... Yeah, they're actually going to ping him out. RMN is trying to wrap on Forev, and they're going to run.
Yeah, Pyke had a bit low on HP and even mana as well, so... The TP in this may just be a fortunate death for RMN. Trying to make some plays happen up top, but his teammates just weren't quite in good fighting shape.
Nice rotation. The TP from Adam secures another kill.
Dendi's levels have really suffered. I mean, he's had so many heroes splitting with him in this mid lane. He's not even level 5 yet. We're 6.5 minutes in. Quap, meanwhile, is surpassed the level 6 point, so... Dendi, I imagine, may just fall back in this jungle, but with just level 2 raises, that's not exactly the easiest thing to do. We'll just triple raise a neutral camp to get that level 5.5, but it's just been a slow start for the Shadow Fiend.
They need a lot more help from Avi to make this work. A rotation in. They might just be able to catch Bibber. He actually telekinesis over to stop Forev, but that means Yaps are still in range to be able to get this crush with Fada TPing in. They managed to get a beautiful Sonic Wave. It's not enough to finish off Pycat, however. Yapsor is going to put it to himself to try and finish him off, but the crush isn't enough. Now he's going to end up dying behind the tower. Pycat survives, and Fada doesn't actually opt to try and go for that kill. Didn't have the mana to back it up. It looks like a blink and nuke was not possible.
Yeah, that starts off well, but giving the slider kill up makes it a bit better as far as Na'Vi are concerned, and they only lose the support Rubik there, so not really all too bad. And while this is going on, Weaver's still pressuring that bottom lane, making Lifesteal have a bit of a rougher time, and they found another kill up top potentially. 4 getting going on here, but without the Ursa, the easiest of kills.
Still have the stun. They have another Fate Bolt. They've got the magic damage.
Yep.
So, Forev dies. I think his laning phase, I have to say, I think what he did in the first, 4 levels was really respectable as the axe. I was watching him very intently because I was like, man, how's he going to make this work? And he was doing this magnificent pulling constantly of the creeps, drawing aggro time after time, using the battle hunger, but now it has turned into a bit of a feed fest as these multiple rotations have started coming in, and Rev is going to be gone on once again. Swipes beginning to stack up. Pycat thinking he can make this work, but can't actually hit the slow. Decides against dive in the tower.
Failed attempt like that does set Pycat back. That's a couple of Earth Shocks. He's already used up 2/3 of his mana pool now and is half HP, so got to really make the aggression count as an Ursa. No easy shrine access, and Pycat will be somewhat hampered. So I mean, plays like that definitely that's where I feel like, okay, that's a good result for Forev, and he's level 6. He's actually able to start contesting this lane a bit better now, and he's going very aggressive with the battle hunger once more.
4-4, a slight lead for Navi right now. About 2,000 gold. I say slight. 2,000 gold is much too. Got there. A little bit of experience buff. Despite Dendi having a rough laning phase, he has kind of recovered thanks in part to that double stack. What was it, 7-minute mark or something like that. Fana tries to pressure him some more, but RMN is in lane. Fana, not one to back down from 1v2, continues to harass the tanky ogre as best. Yapster's going to be able to come in for the side, hit the crush. They also have the follow-up magic missile. But again, RMN is not the hero you want to go for in these situations. They really wanted to catch Dendi with that wraparound, but failed to find him in time with General TPing in. They get a quick kill on Adam.
Get the quick kill, turn around. Dendi really gets his level 7 now, and bro, yeah, the lane stage going very well for them. I think that was almost like a requirement of their draft, running the safe lane Ursa as a pseudo counter pick. The offlane Weaver is a hero that doesn't really want to play from behind. You're expecting your offlane Weaver to get more farm than like a enemy initiating type offlaner, because they're the hero that you're picking to get that mid-game blink and have an impact. Weaver's a hero you're picking to get some farm and not be starved for items as well as for experience. So the fact General's doing as well as he's doing is necessary for Navi. He's doing much better than I expected, like level 9 already. He's one of the highest levels in the game, but this is going to make sure that Navi have a better time helping Dendi get the space and room he needs to transition into that mid game.
Hero trying to get some damage done onto the tower, but General there, all sure there's too much pressure. Dendi is actually going to turn that rotation that he made into the jungle and was clearing through some such into pressure onto the tier 1 tower rather early. Pycat with the early Helmet Dominator is going to help out. He takes the Radiant Siege Creep, and away they go. The first tower to be pressured. Don't think Bears... They're going to try and rotate their 2 supports and maybe have TPs after that. Fada's going to get the mid lane in position. A lot of damage done while he waits for Yapsors and Adam's smoke gank, but they turn into more. Ursa has now rotated out, which means the Yapsor wants to be able to find the initiation here. Tries to come forward. Swap back. Adam unable to get a lock onto anybody but RMN. Bears only picking up the Ogre there. For the Dire picking up that off-lane tower. Not really what they hoped for.
Yep.
Still.
That looked very dangerous for Navi. I think Pycat misread what was going on. I think he assumed that Bears were not defending top. So he's like, alright, they're not defending. I'm just going to TP mid and try and deny this tower, or at least prevent it from going down. But he TPs at a time where Bears are trying to initiate. So Navi perhaps fortunate to only lose the 1 support there, as they managed to get the Shadow Fiend and the Ursa both out safely.
That's thanks in large part to Biver and his all timed as Yapsor tries to make his initiation. They're going to rotate from mid into the bottom lane, continuing to try and just bully these outer towers. They're actually going to smoke up with this rotation, but hesitate to say that they're going to be able to find anything. Frev has already hit his way into the trees. He died enough this game, it seems, a lot more conservatively. It's kind of interesting, the use of this SF, who traditionally would be spending a lot more time farming in the jungle. Pycat needs some help here. The TP rotations start occurring. There's that much. Meanwhile, General is harassing Forev a little bit inside the jungle. Nothing should that. They're going to go back into the top lane. Biver is still going to be the target here. Amplify damage. Short work of him with physical required. RMN is still sitting on top of them though. With the invis, Dendi is going to be able to get a couple of raids, but the pop out there with the invest, and that's a little bit of surprise to Dendi. Now Pycat has to pop the enrage out, but they're just going to kite him around until the enrage fails, and they're going to be able to finish him off, or maybe not. RMN nicely timed stun on the Yapsor just before the crush can go. So Bears bottom. Is Forev going to die? General's hunting him down. Forev's going to juke this one out somehow. And the trees, cut down a tree. General is still kind of on him. Shikuchi's through him. Finds Forev for a second. Forev, yeah, he's finally got to go.
Nice kill. Axes was very close to his blink dagger, so killing him when he did is important for Navi. Slow down those blink timings. That's where the lifesteal, it doesn't have to wait for the support slider to farm a blink this game. The core axe is going to have one at a much better time. But the Bears that fight at top lane, getting the kill on Dendi, pans up very nicely for them. Navi not expecting the infested lifesteal. Mid lane, there is a blink from Bipper with a lift, but I don't think they've got the damage here. Very close, but realistically Fata always had the HP to survive the combo and blink on out.
Yeah, I think many people don't expect the tankiness of this Queen of Pain build. When you get this Treads and you have it on Strength and you complete the Veil of Discord, you get a decent amount of stats out of it. 6 Strength, 6 Armor on top of that. Then you have the big Strength Tread increase in HP as well. And you end up just being able to survive through almost anything. It's one of, I think, Queen of Pain's biggest power spikes is this level 10 area.
And there's actually, I didn't realize co-op level 10 talent, there's a +5 strength which Fat has gone for. I don't know if most co-ops go for this. I feel like I
don't
more commonly see the damage. +5 strength sounds like pretty crap compared to some of the other talents in the game. I'm like,
yeah.
Is that really what you get? I mean, for the playstyle, like survivability, like we often see a lot of in the pro scene, like often players will lean towards more the plus HP talents, even when the other one sounds like, oh, you do damage. Like more often than not, when you're playing as a 5-man unit, damage isn't the issue. It's just staying alive.
General continues to be quite the nuisance here in this bottom lane. Has almost Lincoln's being built up as he's about to finish up that ultimate orb. Being claiming tower here. Looks like that's playing tower. Going down. Forev's going to be able to finish off his Blink Dagger off of that. Whoa! That wasn't the call. Maybe it's a good thing he didn't go, though, because Pycat is also here inside the jungle. He actually blinks away from Pycat. They're still going to try and hunt down Yapzor, though. Tries to go for the TP out. They don't have a telekinesis, so no stun available. Yapzor clean escape. That could have been disastrous for Bears. Their first Blink Dagger reveal of the Axe could have actually gone completely awry. If he did actually get that call, he might have just been gobbled up by Pycat.
That's some good news, and this is where Na'Vi want to get aggressive. They've got this Aegis. They found Adam now, who's on a bit of a warding mission, but pays for that with his life. Forev.
Oh no, another missed call. Forev. He hoped to be able to catch Pycat and then to be able to burst him down with the Infest combination. He now pops out now to force Na'Vi back away from Forev, but off game for our off laner of Bears, it seems.
Again, like another call where even if he lands, I don't think much is going to come from it. Pycat having an Aegis has just pretty good tankiness in general at this stage so he's not going to get immediately bursted down by that Life Stealer Infest. So wasn't the ideal target anyways, and I think Bears just probably ends up okay for them that they just were able to get a clean disengage and back off, and for a better timing to go for that smoke play.
Maybe Yapzor will have better luck in his initiation. He 1,800 golds and is being given the off and finish up the rest of Bears playing inside their jungle right now, trying to cut out some of these wards placed aggressively. Get one of them. Probably not going to find this one. Actually going to go for Fada here. I think they were hoping Fada would blink to the left-hand side and maybe a cat could get him. Blinking forward, hitting that slow, but no such luck. Blinks into the trees.
One of the downsides for Na'Vi right now is they don't have the best building siege. Perhaps with a couple more items on SF and Weaver, that they'll be able to make up for that, but it will be a Linken's first. Weaver going for the more defensive build, Dendi wanting stats and HP as well. Again, prioritizing survivability, but they have an Aegis Ursa. This is more like a, let's fight, let's get on top of Bears and try and go for kills rather than go for towers. If they play keep away, you take those towers, but you do push at a pretty slow pace. Good news is this mid-tier 1 is pretty low, though, so...
Double Blink Daggers. Yapzor.
Oh, Aramed.
He's going to wrap around. Aramed is going to be able to scout out at least one here. Forev's going to be able to jump on him, but the back line still coming in. They managed to kill the Rubik. Ogre is also down. 2 supports dead from Na'Vi, but Firo's now out of that rage and stuck close range with Pycat. He's actually in some serious trouble. Yapzor needs to be able to help him out. He blinks forward. A denied tower from Fada in the middle of this engagement. Firo will manage to get away from Pycat there. So an offlaner in exchange for the 2 supports. I thought that engagement was going to go so much better for Bears, watching Yapzor and Firo wrap around the backside. But Na'Vi, gods, tell me what happened to their side. They got real aggressive.
I mean, again, it was like the classic Iron Man play. He's hiding in some trees, positioned to scout out the smoke gank, and had the lane observe ward, but Na'Vi were so fast, they immediately dropped the sentry, de-warded it, and then he blinked. Like, he didn't even have any vision of the Ogre. He just guessed where Iron Man was. Like, you know that ward there in your smoke pole? You're like, okay, they're hiding in these trees, waiting to pop that smoke and trying to abuse their vision advantage. So it was a really heads-up play coming in from Forev on the Axe. He made up for some of his earlier missed calls and puts him in a nice spot. Potential follow-up kill on Pycat. His Aegis still up for another 20-30 seconds, so not really the ideal timing to go for the kill, but yeah, it looks like Bears won't go chasing.
Swords have been pretty on point for Navi, it seems, for the most part. Some of them are a little bit different, but it is catching Bears unaware. Nice landing board, does a good pie cat. Heads up. Rotation. They're going to go back to mid here. Very rapid. They see naturally Bears are going to fall back after a misgank like that. So Navi think it's their time to get aggressive, especially with the Aegis expiring. Bears may not expect this one. Oh, pops. Viver sees Adam. That'll be their victim. I don't think they're going to be able to make much more of it, though. Forev actually TPs into the shrine, prepared to fight if Navi continued to go for the high ground.
It doesn't look like that's something they are able to approach at this stage. Navi did have general kind of aggressively in the jungle, more so for the scouting reasons than anything else. Oh, Courier. Bartha says hello. It's away with that one and complete his Orchid now, so tougher for the Ursa to rely on the Enrage, and even when he gets at Aghanim Scepter, if he gets Orchided up, he will be getting blown up by this Queen of Pain.
Andy doing in farm. He's getting closer to his Manta. That'll be very important against that Orchid of Fadas.
I feel like you want your Shadow Fiend to be like out farming the other two cores of your team. Like I feel like this is where Navi would be like they'd rather see like a 10k net worth Shadow Fiend and maybe a bit less farm on the Weaver or the Ursa, but does seem like Dendy's still in that kind of catch-up phase.
Yeah, this, I think, is a very prime opportunity. I mean, you've hit this big power spike. The Aegis is now down. You know that Navi just blew through another smoke as well. I think Bears really need to get aggressive here, and it looks like they're to start this off with Vada pushing in the bottom lane and the rest of Bears kind of baiting them out. They may just run into Navi here. Biver's going to TP out at the perfect time. Oh, or cancels it. They think twice about this. The Dire Scan is successful. And now they're thinking about going for this one. Bears and Navi, they're so close together here. Vrev, he's passed by two of these Navi heroes just by inches inside this jungle. It looks like nothing is going to come of it, though. Bears.
I love Dota 2 Fog of War. That's like that's probably one of my favorite things about Dota is just the way Fog of War works. Possibly Fata in trouble.
I was about to say, I think Biver really wants to go on Fata here, and the team has finally left him. They are going to try and make a go here. He does have a blink coming up in a second. Will manage to get away. Don't think Biver by himself can actually fight this one out, but oh, a missed Sonic Wave. Fatebolt goes down. Biver can't actually steal anything, though, to finish off the Queen of Pain. That wasn't the greatest thing. Meanwhile, we did miss another engagement. Firo managed to kill RMN, but Pycap got Yapzor in return. Where was that at?
That was the top lane. No clue what happened, other than like, okay, Slatter's probably a Slatter lifestealer bomb onto the Ogre, and then there was a return kill from Pycat, who it looks like TP'd out after getting the kill. I imagine he had to TP away from the lifestealer Slatter post kill, so. Bottom lane.
Quick, they are going. Oh no, Forev. Missed that call. Now he's going to be pulled back. Firo is actually still going to pop out. Goes for Den. He thinks better of it, though, with that ultimate coming out. Firo is going to lose his rage soon. Yapzor, a beautiful save. A three-man crush, but there's still the jump forward here from Biver. Has a little bit of nuking power, and they finally do get him. Dendy finishes him off. They turn their attention back towards that tier 2, and Bears can do nothing but split push from now.
That is a tough call to miss. You melt so fast as an axe there to the magic damage from the Razors and the rest of the Navi lineup when you miss that call, and very good punish, and immediately upon getting it, Navi are looking for that extra follow-up kill. Nice reaction from Yapzor, yeah.
A soldier's fortune.
Adam maybe going to be the one getting, well, just managed to elude General's vision, it looks like.
General wants to finish up his blade, and I think he has it.
Off of those last couple of fights, Navi pull a bit further ahead. It's like this 6,000-ish net worth lead. In my mind, like even though they've got this 3-core lineup, I feel like they need to be playing from ahead. Like I don't actually think their late game's necessarily better just because of the initiation advantage coming in from Bears. Like having the Axe and the Slider in the late game to me is a bigger deal than like having a Weaver like pseudo carry, because I think Navi's very single target focus, and that's going to start to become an issue for them the longer this game goes.
Tendency to agree here. The fresh Roshan is up. Both teams are probably going to be fighting around that as is possible. Navi are heavily pushing in bottom, see if they can force some rotations, and they do scout out that Roshan is up. So if they can actually force a couple of heroes down to the bottom lane, it may give them better opportunity. Maybe not to do Roshan, but maybe even just set up, get some nice vision around the pit, because that's what they're missing right now. Bears, meanwhile, they have it in spades. They've got this ward actually in the ancient camp. They've got also a mid ward around the Roshan area as well. They're all smoked up, ready to go. They're going to go for a full 5-man smoke entrance into the jungle. If the Slaughter Lifestealer can lead things off, get a quick kill on a core, and turn more.
Again, the side lane split push threat is there, and Navi are grouping up as if they're ready to fight this one, though.
Jesus, General just TPing straight onto that shrine like that.
I think Navi are actually scared they're in Roche. Navi's like, are they in Roche? They only just recently sent that Kobold into there to scout, so there was a good period of time where they were playing a bit blind and worried about that Roche to TP in and go for a smoke of their own.
Now it's Navi's turn to smoke and push out, and the Yapzor is in a position to actually kill some of the smoke. He can still get out too. They managed to get the ward down, but almost getting the fire blast. That would have been big if RMN and his quick reactions could have stopped that escape from the Yapzor, but now Pycat is actually inside the pit, soloing it up. The amplified damage corrosive haze actually stolen by the Rubik. This gets really easy for Navi. Holy crap.
Some of those right clicks felt like they were doing like 10% of Roche's HP towards the end there. That is one of the faster Roches I've seen. It honestly feels like Roche is getting easier and easier to kill, despite it get buffed in the latest patches, at least as far as like how hard to kill it's meant to be. I don't know.
And you know,
Roche just seems squishier all the time.
If it wasn't for all the TPs out and smokes and everything that happens in the the minute 0 area, first level 0, level 1 Roche, very easy. Swap back. All right, a little bit of Manta. We're good. Dandy's okay. He also had a haste rune in his pocket, so no problems there. Yeah, we were doing the other way the other day. Level 1 Roche is pretty easy too.
Yes.
I feel like Roche needs some big boy buffs. Needs a lot more.
Yeah, because at some point it was like, oh, let's give him some more armor so you don't just kill him with all these minus armor strats so easily, but teams just started picking more minus armor, and now they've made it so that spells damage suddenly has become more effective against Roche, so we're seeing even these magic damage heroes help against Roche, but even so, as it stands, Na'Vi with Aegis can force the high ground push at top, something they're very likely to do just to make sure that Bears come back to defend, and Pycat's already blinking up there to get vision, sees no one, and that means they can get some free hits before Bears even get back.
Yeah, I think they saw that tier 1 tower still hadn't dropped yet, and they're ready to go for the high ground. General is going to be called up here. Crushed as well. Pop out. Maybe they can first him. Yeah, they got him. Fada, actually, with the ultimate, is able to finish him off. Now the ultimate goes down from Dandy. That's going to be scared back some of Bears, but they have the shrine to work back. They're still full HP and a decent amount of mana as well. Looks like they still managed to get the Slardar at the very back lines. How the hell did he do that?
I saw him like try and chase him down with a right click, but how did he actually end up
must have been
killing
Manta
him?
illusions or something.
Yeah, that was great. I saw him get down like 20 HP and then just went back to the main fight because it looked like he was going to just live and get back to base. So I'm not sure what ended up chasing him down to kill him off. But yeah, all I can think of is Manta illusion since Dendy got credited the kill.
Well, that is still a big win there for Na'Vi. Even if they did lose General, they got a tier 3 tower like that, and that'll mean a huge amount of progression and net worth for the.
And there was also very early stages of the Aegis, so they've still got a good 2.5 minutes of time on this to go for another aggressive play. I think Pycat's probably going to feel pretty good about himself having the Aegis as well as the Ag Scepter, so he's not really prone to getting jumped on. It's the Weaver who didn't have the good defensive capabilities there, but that's one of those things where if they're going to fully commit everything, like including the Sonic Wave to kill off the Weaver, it really means that the SF and the Ursa are going to have full reign over the fight. Problem is for Ursa, he couldn't really lock onto anyone, so see it. Pycat, with the newly picked up Basher, can kind of make up for that problem. He's got that extra bit of lockdown now.
General, oh, he gets spotted out there. Instantly, Yapzor and Forev both jump on him. General goes down again, and that is a significant loss.
Bad
because
timing, yeah.
Na'Vi only had 2 minutes to work with this Aegis. Now they're only going to have 1 minute if they wait for General, and that's kind of cutting it close.
And there's a full vision of them. This high ground ward, they are looking to set up to take a fight, or at least to make sure that Na'Vi unable just to push down this lane. From behind comes Yapzor.
AC too. Here comes the Shrine TPs. Yapzor is definitely going to find something here. A missed call from Forev, but it doesn't matter. They've already got the Rubik down. Vero has to deal with Pycat, though. He immediately starts running away. Open wounds, kiting Pycat back. Dendy lets go of the Requiem, trying to lessen some of that damage, but Bears can still fight it out as long as they can get the kite. Nice Sonic Wave. Finishes off RMN. Forev does manage to dance back ahead of Dendy. Another Shrine activated, and Bears go back in once again. They've kited Na'Vi well enough. They can finish off this engagement in style. Killing off Dendy, looking for Pycat, who's deep inside the trees. Doesn't actually have a TP, and if they made that read, doesn't look like they did, but he had no way to be able to get out of this situation. He just had that Aegis filling up inventory.
Na'Vi are just slightly crumbling here, it feels like. Or may walk into the Ursa at this point, but
I was
like
about to say, Pycat sees him. Do you think he's actually trying to kill Firo? A real quick kill with this Aegis still?
Yeah, he sees the other heroes defending base. Yeah, you may as well quickly go for it. And I guess without the TP, it means you can't just panic TP out if things start going bad for you. And the AC has some survivability, but all it's going to take is potential a single bash, and you've got this kill.
What do you bet the team's doing the calculations for? All right, they TP at least one hero onto the Shrine. They're all, pretty far deep into the base. You've got all these Fury swipes.
He's got the one single overpower, but yeah, six quick right clicks with an enrage. Close.
If he hits the Earthshock, I think he's.
Yeah, that's actually they're going to be the big thing. Getting that Earthshock damage for that extra little bit to tick it over.
Oh, he doesn't have range on Lifestealer, so.
Oh yeah, no rage means this is guaranteed kill, really. You can won't quite get a second Earthshock off if he needs that extra time. Fata's got no mana to help out anyway, so Fata's out of the picture. Yeah, I mean, more importantly for Na'Vi is this last couple minutes has been disastrous for them. That first high ground when they got the tier 3 was fine, but everything that happened after that on their second go with the Aegis, the Weaver getting tracked at mid lane and getting picked off, and then everything that happened underneath the Observer Ward there. It was one of those scenarios where they got the Sentry Ward there, but it was like, as soon as they saw the Observer Ward, they probably knew oh crap, we're in trouble. They're about to jump on us, and that's exactly what happened with the Slaughter. First getting the Rubik, you take that Lift and Spell Steal out of the picture. SF Ursa just their Rec Room's being thrown, Dendy's right-clicking people here and there, but there's enough survivability across the Bez side of things with the AC, and just in general, most of these heroes are pretty tanky. Quap has Veil, Blade Mail, and a Soul Booster, so more than enough survivability for the Queen of Pain. There's no easy kills for Dendy in these fights. The easiest one is the Slaughter, but that Slaughter sprints away. He couldn't really stay on top of the Slaughter without a Lift or an Ogre Stun, but the two supports instantly melt.
And the rest of not. I think they just needed, they didn't have very clear decision making. They needed to immediately back out as soon as they lost General, but Pycat not going for the clap just yet. Waits a little bit, now goes for it. Slowed down by the open wounds. The Enrage is going to take that one off, gets the bash necessary to finish off that kill. The TP does come in from Forev, slowing down Pycat. Now the rest of the TPs are going to be able to follow that one up. Pycat is going to lose his Aegis. They get the Cull, and they should be able to finish up a second time here. Pycat goes for the quick blink. Nicely played. None of Bears were actually close enough to be able to catch that blink, so may still be able to get away. 1 second. Oh, another one. Oh, he gets hit barely. Yapzor managed to connect, and that definitely should be at the end of Pycat. He does have some help coming in. Biver's going to be able to help out a little bit with the telekinesis, slowing down the damage, but Pycat still gets dropped, and now Biver's just going to be the extra kill. RMN actually abandoned him on that one. He's like, nope, I'm not being a part of that engagement. Left the two of them to die.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. You formulate some plan in your mind, and you lose a lot of that flow and momentum when that big pause comes in. But it's always going to be a tough escape post-kill for Pycat, and didn't quite get that kill quick enough. And as a result, Na'Vi lose another key hero at a key time of this game. They giving players a lot of room to get some of these luxury type items like the Solar Crest on the Slada and the Octarine Core now complete on Fata. So once he gets to that level 25 stage, things look very rough for Na'Vi.
Natus seems pretty set on this item build, even against the Ursa, refusing to go for the Force Staff. What are your thoughts?
I like it against these like single target physical damage drops. I think it's fantastic because we're not really looking at a Weaver or an SF or an Ursa. Ursa can enrage out of it, but there's a lot of things he's going to have to enrage out of. So I think you can always time that Solar Crest or put it on a teammate, and it's always going to be a very useful, effective item. And I think one of the kind of maybe underbought and undervalued items in the game, Navi's draft is like the perfect example of a draft where you want to have a Solar Crest on your team if possible.
I think I really like the fact that you said undervalued, because I feel like Solar Crest was an item that was all the rage for a certain point in time, and then nobody started picking it up. It just kind of fell by the wayside, and now it seems Apsor and a couple other supports have started bringing the item back into the fold again. Quick escape there away from Na'Vi, who heard their smoke, did get popped. At least Bivers did. The rest of the team is still trying to make this work, though. Another blink out, but a telekinesis actually does manage to grab Yapzor. Yapzor is definitely dead, but Firo may also be in trouble. He's raged up, trying to get back to his base. Na'Vi are trying to pursue out as best they can. Swap back just to make sure that Lifestealer does not get caught in any way.
And I think General forgot about his Diffusal Blade there. Could have at least slowed down the Axe towards the end with that Diffusal. Perhaps, I don't know if they guarantee getting a second kill with a Telekinesis they do, but that may have been a bit out of range. But either way, Na'Vi at least get the kill. Are able to kind of settle back with their lanes. Try and ideally get some aggressive wards down, although they don't have much to play around with right now, and fingers crossed for them, they are looking for that next Roshan to set themselves up to perhaps push some further towards top lane where they've already taken a T3 tower. It is exposed, but they also just don't want this game to drag too much longer. The Lifesteal is going to be getting some late game items of his own, the Queen of Pain's getting close to that level 25, and the Ursa is just going to start to fall off and get kited the longer this game goes on.
Lada's going to turn into a Porcupine here with the Blade Mail, and he's got queued up a Mjolnir. So if he actually gets that static charge out, links forward with a level 25, has that invulnerability, pops the Blade Mail, pops the static charge, and Na'Vi are just going to have to ignore him. Entirety of that Blade Mail. It's going to get pretty rough for Na'Vi here. They'll have some upgrades coming in, some pretty decent ones. They have the Manta coming in for General. Looks like AC is the next choice for Identity. Up a little bit more against that Lifestealer Slardar combination. And we'll also have the guaranteed lockdown of the Abyssal Blade, but they do have to worry about Bears running them over at this point, because I think this is one of the bigger peaks that Bears is going to receive. Maybe wait out the Basher potentially on Firo, but I'm not even sure if you want to wait for...
Yeah, I think Bears may just be thinking, let's go if they can find an opening to get a good jump with that Slada Lifesteal Bomb once again. Dendy does now hit level 20, which is a big boost in his damage output. He gets 72 damage with that talent. One of the better level 20 talents out there, and he's suddenly, often it feels like in these fights, like he can stay alive, he can get it like 3 or 4 right clicks off before the heroes just get away from him, but now I feel like he's actually going to hit a lot harder and be a much bigger threat to the Bears side.
For a successful Scandinavian, but I don't think that's actually going to tell them too much. They know Roshan could be coming in sometime soon. They have to fear that Na'Vi are doing it right now. They're going to go for the smoke, see if they can intercept this Roshan, but it's not even up. They may still run into Na'Vi, though. Na'Vi are playing around the high ground areas of Rosh, the Radiant Shine, trying to play on this Dire jungle side as well. Like the General was able to pop that smoke, and Bears are going to have to give control of the Roshan pit back over to Na'Vi once again and see if they can find a different way to get their initiation.
Na'Vi trying to loop around, and that Observer, I don't believe scouted them going up that ramp necessarily, but they'll show themselves a bit at top lane. Very hard for Bears to play this stage of the game, because Ursa can always just blink in and solo Roshan, and they kill it so damn fast, but Teams have kind of swapped side here. Bears are ready to engage towards the pit. They know where Na'Vi are, and they're going to try and get in here and stop this one, but it's going to be, it looks like, too late.
Swarm makes things really hard. They aren't going to be able to get Biver in the back lines. At the same time, Forev gets forced that forward, but he gets caught by RMN. Adam managed to swap him out and gets the stun onto RMN. Fada is being pursued out by General, but another call goes out. Dendy is actually going to be losing his Aegis here. Fada dances away from General a little bit further out of mana now, but General has to retreat as now all the supports are going to be focused on him, giving Fada the help he desperately needed. Firo gets bashed up, but Dendy and Pycat realize with all the supporting crew of Na'Vi gone, they have to start retreating. There's a big numbers advantage going the way of Bears now, even if these two cores are quite strong. Not sure if they can do this by themselves. Trying to go for Fada. Pycat makes his initiation. Now the buybacks start coming in, but Pycat immediately gets bashed up, controlled, and it's just going to be the SF who makes his escape. Biver's buyback will be completely unwarranted. Looks like the push at the top lane did some okay damage on a melee Rex, but ultimately it will regen.
Yeah, Na'Vi just losing their supports at the start of all of these fights, so you can throw these extra lives on the Shadow Fiend, these cheeses onto the Ursa to give him a second wind in the fight, and it just doesn't seem to matter because they're just not dealing enough damage. It doesn't really feel like the Ursa is really ever a threat. He's not able to get on top of any of these key heroes to bring them down. The Axe is just being a complete menace with this Blink Blade Mail initiations now. And all of a sudden, Na'Vi just, well, I mean, it doesn't really, not even all of a sudden, it just feels like a few fights in a row where they're just unable to really capitalize on having an Aegis advantage.
And that's got to be the combination. I mean, I think this ward was absolutely the MVP of the whole entire Roshan fight. Not only did it spot out all of the rotations that Na'Vi were doing, which allowed Bears to push in mid and take this tier 2 during that setup time, but it also spotted out some of the heroes like this Rubik who was sitting in the side. That was a quick instant kill, a numbers advantage going the way of Bears. And then some of the following supporting cast of Na'Vi fell also because of that vision. It seems like vision and initiation is something that is severely lacking for Na'Vi, and it's something we talked about during the draft. It's going to be a big problem in their mid game. They may have these strong fighting cores that can all scale pretty well into the late game, but it doesn't mean much if you're only getting kited around constantly.
That was before the level 25 Queen of Pain talent, so now the spell life still kicks in, and Bata with Mjolnir, and almost like he almost has enough money for a Hex as well. Becomes a major concern for Na'Vi in these fights, and it feels like Na'Vi are lacking the damage output. They've gone for the kind of 3-core lineup, but these cores are lacking that supporting utility hero. The supports themselves are just so squishy. We see them melt time and time again in these fights, and Bears are able to get a lot more value out of their Slider, their Axe, than what Na'Vi are getting out of their core heroes, like their Weaver, their Ursa.
Bears want to lose that tier 2 tower. No need for it when they're in such a commanding position, so they're going to push out the mid lane. Top is still pushed in, and that's where they're headed. I think they still want to keep the pressure on the base here. As soon as they've alleviated that pressure on the mid lane that Na'Vi were trying to put out there, go straight back up. Going to take the shrine, it looks like, first, and try and determine what they want to do.
Yeah, they probably feel like they're reaching a point where they can take any fight. Na'Vi, it seems like a more like, all right, let's split push a bit, pesky, be annoying, keep Bears on the back foot so they can try and buy some more time to complete another item or two, get a buyback. Shadow Fiend gets an Assault Cuirass, but it's only going to be a minor improvement in Na'Vi's overall fight. It doesn't really solve the issues we're seeing them constantly run into. And oh man, it seems like Yapstar maybe has an idea of what's going on, but uses the wrong tree path. Oh, now we'll find him.
RMN is going to be the first one jumped on here, but on the right-hand side, they are trying to finish up Rev for one exchange here. Fada fearlessly blinking forward with that level 25. He spotted out here, but no disables on the side of Fada. Not yet, anyway. Trying to finish off that side.
They lose an Axe for a support Ogre, and they're still blinking forward, trying to charge and take fights to Na'Vi. The battle more for Bears is just knowing where Na'Vi are and what lanes are kind of being split pushed, if anything. Oh,
And
Ruben.
fight around your shrine here. Looks like Navi are considering it. Pycat's going to jump forward. They actually managed to get the stun on Fada. This is big, but he managed to get a force staff, and now they're turning around and gets a blade mail and a full heal back up. Dendy's being chased away by Firo, and Pycat, he may get one with the help of General. He's going to have some shrine help as well, but I don't think he stands a chance against all these heroes. Sure enough, he gets kited, he gets stunned, and Navi, they saw 4 versus 4, and as you said, they had a better exchange, right? They lost their ogre, but they took away the axe away from Bears, and they had the shrine advantage as well. And they tried to fight it out. It still wasn't good enough to beat Bears.
That right idea and approach where it's like, all right, let's burst down this corp before the blade mail kicks in, but it's kind of like versing a satanic. If you don't kill that hero during your lockdown, they're going to turn around on you and suddenly heal up to full, and you've just wasted a lot of key spells. Oh, Dendy.
Oh no, Dendy, Yapsor, and Firo, they come once in with the Infest combination, find that kill with Navi now down 30 seconds on the and 70 on the SF. That could be multiple lanes of racks being taken.
Yeah, I think that may almost just be the killing blow at this point. There's so little that you can do to defend.
Armen, nice force staff there. Still going to be caught by Forev. Ultimately, Navi are just trying to buy time with their supports. They are going to be forced back by General, who does manage to get a ranged rack. A little bit surprised they care so much about General. What?
How many TPs was that? Like, send
Wow.
just one hero back. I mean, I guess you have to choose which hero defense, since like Avenge isn't going to be able to defend that lane of racks against a Weaver, but that was a dead Shadow Fiend Ursa Ogre for, I mean, the Ursa was about to respawn, but just Shadow Fiend being dead for how long he was, it felt like that should be guaranteed one lane of racks. Like, I'm looking at this like, are they going to even have to GG up? But again, they're in such a strong dominant position, they immediately go back the other way. Fata's got upgraded to the Bloodthorn now. General has to be careful not to get silenced.
Not going to be able to catch either one of these heroes. They don't have that extra disable. Oh, Shikuchi just before the... Oh, he actually gets the catch. Forev finally gets the call needed. They get General. They can force the buyback now. Fada, again, you could see the change of playstyle. As soon as he hits level 25, he is just fearless. He pops the blade mail as soon as any damage comes his way. Bounces back. They'll finish off that tier 3. A General buyback has been forced.
Arcane Rune!
He's actually going to be able to jump onto a swap, goes down. Fada's still going to be good. Pops the blade mail, jumps back in, manages to get the Sonic Wave, but blade mail's going to wear out. Maybe Pycat can finish him off. So is Forev down. Firo managed to pick up RMN. Yapser went for the back line there, trying to force Dendy out of an awkward position. Will turn around and manage to get Pycat before he dies to Dendy's hand. Now another buyback. Firo trying to go for Dendy. He knows he's not making out of this one alive. He just hoped to be able to kill another core of Navi. That's not going to happen, though.
Whoa.
Navi, a brilliant hold, it seems.
That Quap, I mean, I look at that Quap like, how do you stop this Queen of Pain? There was, with the Arcane Rune, Blink had a 2.6 second cooldown. 2.6 second cooldown? How is that a thing in Dota, you know? That doesn't sound like it should exist in any fashion, but they managed to lock down Fata as once he just blinked in one too many times aggressively, catch him without the blade mail on, and they actually burst him down, so...
Yeah, I think
all credit to Navi.
I think that was Fada made some major error there because he got swap saved, but I think he still had he was still spamming blade mail. So he popped the blade mail as soon as he's no longer stunned, but he's swapped out to safety. And then he decides, well, my blade mail's up. I'm gonna blink back in, but then the blade mail, he only had half the duration. He gets the Sonic Wave off, but Pycat's like, oh, blade mail's down now. Well, I'll just take this kill.
Definitely a misplayed team fight from me. It's very hard to play these level 25 heroes considering all the active spells he's got in these late game fights, but Navi doing a good job of punishing him at the right time, and suddenly they've taken some tier 2s. This game not over just yet, and one more kill on someone like Fata, that's a potential dieback. Without Queen of Pain, I think Bears actually really struggle team fight.
Oh, absolutely.
Navi, I think, know that, and they want to try and find that pick using this smoke of theirs.
I mean, despite being, strength heroes, these heroes, Slardar, Axe, and even Firo's Lifestealer, they do not want to be on the front lines. That's Queen of Pain's job. So without that frontliner, they really won't have the opportunities for the same kind of opportunities for initiation and counter initiation that they would. So I think Fada, as a whole, Bears got to be really careful right now because they had this game in the bag. They had it. They had it locked on, and then a bad team fight, and Navi pressuring real hard. I love that they're not playing scared at all. The jump forward here from the Yapster. They're going to try and get General here with a call. The lockdown, the magic missile. They got him with the sonic wave. That's 2 dead with no buyback. And now Na'Vi, they try and turn. Dendy gets off the ultimate. Pycat pops his enrage, turns against Fada, but a swap out saves him once again. Dendy, he doesn't even output enough damage to kill Forev of all heroes. So in the end, the fairy tale ends. Na'Vi, they're not going to make the triumphant comeback in this game 2 to push to a game 3. They're going to lose multiple heroes without buyback. It's complete Dendy as his, and Bears likely to close out the game now.
Yeah. Suddenly it became a very volatile game all of a sudden. Not quite the ending I was expecting for this one, but really, I mean, testament to Na'Vi and their resolve as far as making Bears play it out, almost putting themselves in a position, well, they did put themselves in a position where they could win the game, but it was followed up, the recklessness of Bears was followed up by a bit more calculated play, and now we'll see them secure at least a melee racks, possibly some more. No Ursa, no Weaver, just a Shadow Fiend buyback to play around, and Dendy gonna have to commit that one and then probably still not really be able to fight. He's also missing a lot of damage because of the lack of souls. So fighting is not really gonna be all too easy for him.
Tier 3 being chipped away. Another buyback. This one's going to come out of Forev to make sure they have full 5, while Na'Vi are lacking 2 of their members. Forev comes in. Heal Scepter, set up the kill onto RMN. Fada's going to go for the backlines, trying to target Dendy, who managed to disjoint that Shadow Strike and blink himself away. Biver makes his way to the fountain for a full heal. You're going to have to fight against Mega Creeps, and they still need to stall this throne push for another 15 seconds for Pycat. It just doesn't seem like they have the damage necessary. Last tier 4s are going to fall. Forev's going to be able to catch Biver here. Yapster in the back lines does manage to get Dendy once again. Dendy dropping lower and lower. The Sonic Wave finishes them off. And even as these other cores start coming up, now they're lacking some of their support generals here. He immediately gets shut down. Yapster, he ends up falling to Pycat's hand, but Pycat will be eliminated by the other 4 of Bears. That will be Na'Vi losing this game 2, and Bears winning the series. They won against Advenom 2-0. They've now won against Na'Vi 2-0 as well. So impressive performance, impressive debut of this new European.
They're now guaranteed a spot in the top 4 playoff bracket, which will start, I guess, in a couple of days' time once we know the other 3 teams to join them. But yeah, very, very strong stuff from Bears. They showed a good variety in their picks. I mean, we did see Slaughter Lifesteal 2 games in a row, but more looking at like Forev as well as Fata. We saw different heroes in different games from those 2 players. And even going back to their first best of 3, we saw different looks where they had the Firo Shadow Fiend at mid. So it's not just like a predictable, let's keep running the same thing kind of approach from Bears at this point. And to me, probably the biggest difference in where these teams is like kind of the 4 position plays. Yapster has been so high impact. He was in 32 of their 38 kills. He had 31 assists this game. And not Aramin, I think, has played bad, but he's on these heroes where he's just not going to ever have as much impact. You're an Ogre Magi. Like, your impact after the laning stage is never going to be comparable